faces are going to change, like I said, but our standard and how we hold our guys accountable isn't going to change.
Hey Lions fans, welcome into another edition of the Coaches Show. We're here with our new men's basketball coach, Coach Grant Burns. Coach, thanks for doing this today.
Thank you. So pretty crazy to be here right now.
Yeah, I imagine it's been kind of a whirlwind since national championship game to now has gone by really fast.
It has. It's every day, usually in the off season, get a couple of days to hang out and do different things. And right now it's just every day, busy. So, but I couldn't ask for anything different. So
yeah. Just tell us a little bit about the process. When did you maybe start finding out some things that you were a candidate, and how did that all go down?
Yeah. So kind of after the national championship game, that week was just a week for us to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. It was spring break, great time for guys to get away. The following week was when things kind of started to shape up. I think the announcement came out on Thursday. Mm-hmm. So Coach S was informed a couple of days ahead. We had met with the team on Wednesday night, let them know. We went to Indianapolis for the Final Four. Actually, when it came out that day, we were on the road to Indianapolis in the Final Four, so that was fun. We just put our phones down. Yeah. It was blowing up. So once that happened, kind of knew I was a candidate at that point. Coach Estes had texted me, and he said, hey, would you rather interview on Monday or Wednesday? I said, let's get this thing quick. Let's do Monday. So interviewed on Monday, and on Thursday found out I had the job. So been a whirlwind, but I'm glad it all worked out the way it's worked out.
Yeah, yeah. You were right there with Coach Stutz through all the national championships and the recent success. So we're all excited that you got this opportunity. I
appreciate it. It's one of those things I said. It's crazy. I've been with him this whole time here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
I've seen this thing from when it started. There was 10 games won in the previous 2 years, and building a roster, and then continue to build. Now you've got this expectation of you win the first one, to basically keep having that success and how to manage that. So I feel like in 7 years I've gotten to see all different sides of how to build a program and how to sustain it. So
what's been the first thing, or like one thing that surprised you? I mean, you've been the head coach for a week, but what's been one thing that surprised you didn't know you're going to have to do?
I wouldn't say there's been anything that surprised me. There's been things I knew would not be fun to do. Okay. And one of those is scheduling. Okay. Because we talk about it every year, so he handles that.
Yeah.
He always talks about how miserable it is to schedule, and it'll be July and we don't have a schedule yet. And I always give him a hard time about it, and I'm sitting in his shoes now, and I'm like, well, this is tough. This is not fun. So
some of that has to do with the conference, right? Some teams left the conference and having way less conference games. Right. Which means you have a lot more other dates to try to find other opponents.
Yeah, you got to get 16 non-conference games. Probably the most anybody has to get in the country is 16. Very, very difficult. People want home games all the time, especially these schools that have 20 conference games. They can only get 8 non-conference games. Well, they want most of those to be at home if they can. I'm sitting here, I'd love to have about 5 of our 16 at home at this point. So that's kind of where we're at on things. But everybody wants a home game, and it's just there's a whole combination of things. If people don't have that many non-conference games scheduled, we have a lot, so they can be really picky and choosy about who they schedule and what they do, and we really can't. So it's just like, if Pikeville wants to call us up and us go to Pikeville, we'll go to Pikeville. So that's what's happening.
Now, what about some of those tournaments that we've been playing in? Those have helped you out with the schedule in the past, right?
They have. That's a big reason why we do it. Everybody thought we were crazy a couple years ago doing Battle at the Beach on Monday and Tuesday of Thanksgiving week in Panama City, and then playing the show on Friday, Saturday in Kingsport. But it was like, that's what we had to do.
Yeah.
So this year, similar but different. We're going to play the show in Kingsport again, Thanksgiving week. we're going to go down to LSU Shreveport and play in a classic there on November 12th and 13th.
Okay.
We played a home and home with them last year. Really enjoyed it. Like them, like their staff. So they asked us to come down, and it should be a big time event down there.
And some of those tournaments also helped with our RPI and stuff like that too, because we played some other good teams.
Right. I mean, when you go to these classics, you're going to play good teams. He's talking about having them and 2 other teams, one that was in the Final Four, one that was in the Elite Eight, come down there and play in that classic. So be a great test for us. But, you just try to mix in with scheduling. You try to mix in, some games that you feel pretty confident in, but you also want to test yourself as well. You just don't want to test yourself too much. Not this year, but the year before. I mean, we had #1 strength of schedule, and it wasn't even close. And it was like, you just go through this gauntlet constantly, and you get to conference play, and it's like, oh, gosh. Then you drop a few you shouldn't drop just because you've been through this gauntlet and you overlook somebody in that regard. So you've got to have balance, but you do want to test yourself at the same time.
So, the other thing I'm sure everybody's going to want to know about is the roster. What are people leaving, or hiring our assistant is going to help us keep more players? What are your feelings there?
Yeah, I think hiring me helps. There's a lot of familiarity. I've had a hand in recruiting everybody, so it's not like I'm some new guy coming in. So we've built that relationship. As of right now, everybody is staying. Going to have some conversations with a couple guys next week to shore things up. But right now, you can expect the same roster for next year with a couple additions.
Okay.
So
then I'm going to follow up on the additions. What we got coming in?
Yeah, so we got 2 freshmen coming in, DJ Roberson from Chattanooga, Jerron Johnson from Clarksville. Both of them have potential to play next year. Both of them are going to be great players for us. Fit exactly what we want to do on the floor and off the floor. Both of them are 6'6". They're athletic. Jerron's more stronger, physical, explosive at the rim. DJ 6'6", but super skilled. Good IQ, good decision maker. Those 2 guys we've got a lot of expectations for. Eli Pounder's redshirted this past year. Fully expect him to play next year as well. So very excited about him, and then been dabbling in the portal a little bit and see. So we've got some things going in the portal right now, and we'll see how things work out.
Okay. What about style of play and offensive and defensive thoughts? You don't have to elaborate too much, but just give everybody your thoughts on what we're going to do there.
Yeah, defensively in the half court, it's going to be the exact same. Thought we've had a lot of success with it. I think it's
an understatement.
Yeah. We're to a point now where we've kind of seen everything that people can try to do against us, and we know how to guard it and the adjustments you've got to make. And I think this team knows what they're doing. You can go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say, I think the defensive, you won't have to change anything because the team's going to know what to do already.
Right.
So you're not teaching anything new.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And something else we've played a couple times. We've been dabbling on it a little bit. But this year we had a lot of success with our press. We only pressed off dead balls or, free throws. Looking at doing that full time now. So looking at pressing off makes, misses, which then leads you to crash the offensive glass. Me and Coach Stutz over the last 3 years have had 100 conversations about offensive rebounding versus transition defense. So he knew me getting this job, I was probably going to go that way. So I am going offensive rebound, but there's a way you've got to do it to where it's smart and you're able to match up and press off that. So, and I think it's going to be a fun style for our guys. I think it fits this team well. We've got a lot of speed, and I think they'll really enjoy it. So that's the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, some things will probably change there with my assistant coming in. I'm going to let him have a lot of control over the offense. I'll still have a hand in it, but I think that is his strength. I think the defensive side of the ball is my strength. And so just trying to make each other's strengths, the best, that's the way I'm going to lean, and that's the way I'm going to do it probably. So
okay. And then I want to ask you about that in the release. You had a quote there about keeping the standard the same. So Have you thought about your slogan for next year? I know you guys have had a bunch of these.
Yeah.
Or that's too soon for that.
Yeah, it's too soon. It usually comes to us. It usually comes to us in the middle of the night, about July.
Okay.
So it's randomly. We've tried so hard over the years to think about a slogan, think, and then out of nowhere it'll just come.
The
to
best
us.
one, yeah.
Yeah, the best one comes to us and it sticks. So I have been thinking about it, but because I'm thinking about it, nothing's come to mind yet. So maybe in the summer when I'm on vacation or something, I won't be thinking about it. Then it'll come out. It's pretty good.
Okay.
We'll do that.
Well, I think more than just the basketball team, the whole school and the staff maybe have rallied around some of those in the past few years.
Yeah.
So we'll not only are we expecting it, we're looking forward to it. That's put more pressure on you.
Yeah, I've got to
We
have
can't
a
wait to
good
hear
one.
that.
I've got to have a good one. So that is some pressure there.
Okay. Well, congratulations again. We really appreciate you taking some time for us. And let me do this. Is there anything else that you want to say before we close up here?
Yeah, just kind of what I said. Faces change every year.
Mm-hmm.
Faces change every year. After we won the national championship 2 years ago, we had some guys leave and go Division I, and everybody's like, how are you going to replace them? Well, before that, it was Cortland Martin leaves. How are you going to replace him? So that stuff is going to continue to happen, but I think we've done a good job of adapting.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a good job of adapting. So Lions fans, just bear with us. We're gonna keep this thing rolling. So faces are gonna change, like I said, but our standard and how we hold our guys accountable isn't gonna change.
Okay. Well, like I said, thank you for doing this again, and we really appreciate it. And we can't wait for that next basketball season.
For sure. Go Lions.
All right. Make sure you follow us on our social media channels. Make sure that you like and subscribe our videos, and stay up to date on our website with everything else that's going on in FHU Athletics. Thanks so much. Go Lions.